Hello children, good morning. We already introduced to the story of Indigo, which is the last chapter which you are studying of the book Flamingo, and it is written by Louis Fisher. The story of Indigo is based on the interviews taken by Louis Fisher, the biographer of Mahatma Gandhi. In order to write on Mahatma Gandhi, he had visited Gandhi's ashram in the year 1948, and he was informed about the Indigo movement started by Mahatma Gandhiji in early days in pre-independent India. The story revolves around the struggle of Gandhi and other prominent leaders in order to safeguard the interests of sharecroppers from the atrocities of the British landlords. So let's study this chapter in detail. Now let's go to the textbook, open the textbook, and when you open this chapter, fifth chapter, though it's a fifth chapter, it happens to be the last chapter because remaining chapters have been deleted for this year's board examination. The title of this lesson is Indigo, and just above the title we can see three monkeys of Mahatma Gandhi. Talk no evil, see no evil, and hear no evil. So don't talk bad things, don't see bad things, and don't hear bad things. That is what these three monkeys mean or they express. So there are so many bad things happening there, but you don't have to talk about all that. There are so many things happening there, probably that will have its impact on you. That's why see no evil and hear no evil. This chapter is written by Louis Fisher, a biographer who has written the biography, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. And what is the name of the autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi? My Experiments with Truth. Louis Fisher was born in Philadelphia. He served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 and 1920. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote for the New York Times, the Saturday Review, and for European and Asian publications. He was also a member of the faculty at Princeton University. The following is an excerpt from his book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. That's Mahatma Gandhi's biography. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhi by Times Educational Supplement. Now let's get familiar with some of the phrases. Notice these expressions which we are going to come across in the textbook and infer their meaning from the context. And as we go on reading them, let's try to infer their meaning from the context. But before that, let's just get familiar with them. Urge the departure. Departure of whom? Departure of the British from India. Urge, keep on insisting, keep on requesting them, or keep on insisting. Departure of or departing, going away of the British. So keep on fighting with them. Keep on asking them to leave, go back. So leave this land of ours. So urge the departure. Then here conflict of duties. So here conflict of the obligations, of the duties or the responsibilities, the clash, what is to be done first, whether to do this or that, what is to be taken up, which responsibilities has to be taken up at first, which has to be given priority, conflict of duties. So there's a clash of obligation, the duties. Then harbor a man like me. So give shelter to an advocate of home rule. So somebody who was demanding home rule, giving shelter by a government servant because he has come over there and stayed in the house of a government servant. So harbor a man like me, give a shelter to a man who was fighting for the home rule, was fighting for the independence of this country. Seek a prop, so try to find support, try to get assistance, seek a prop support, to get support from people. So seek a prop. So let's see in the context the meanings of these expressions for better understanding. Now let us study this chapter in detail. When I first visited Gandhi in the year 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, I will tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the departure of the British. It was in 1970. So we come across this phrase, urge the departure, in the first paragraph itself. So here the author explains about his first meeting with Mahatma Gandhi, first interaction with Mahatma Gandhi, which had taken place in the year 1942. What is name of the ashram of Mahatma Gandhi? Sevagram. So that was in central India. And where is this Sevagram? It's near Wardha. So here Sevagram is in Wardha. So Sevagram is in Maharashtra. So that name of the ashram, which is in Maharashtra. Then where is Sabarmati ashram? Sabarmati ashram is in Gujarat, Ahmedabad. So Sevagram ashram. So he was there in Sevagram ashram. And at that time he goes and meets him. I'll tell you how it happened. So here he tells about how this movement started. So how he started feeling that I decided to urge. So he started feeling that yes, the Britishers should leave. They are exploiting. They should depart our motherland. And when he went to Champaran, when he saw the condition of these peasants and the kind of exploitation that was done by the Britishers. So it was in the year 1917. So he had gone to the December 1916 annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party. So there was annual convention, annual meeting was there of the Indian National Congress in Lucknow. There were 2,301 delegates, representatives were there who had been there to that convention. And there were many other visitors. During the proceedings, when it was going on, Gandhi recounted. So a peasant came up to me looking like any other peasant in India. So here he says, what has happened? A peasant came, a small farmer came, and what was his name? His name was Rajkumar Shukla. He came to meet. So he remembers what actually had happened at that particular time when he had gone to annual convention in Lucknow. A peasant came up to me looking like any other peasant in India, poor and emaciated, very thin. Malnutrition, poor peasant, he had come to him and then he introduced himself, said that I am Rajkumar Shukla, I am from Champaran and I want you to come to my district and see the conditions of the peasants. Gandhi had never heard of the place. And where is Champaran? Champaran is in Bihar. It was in the foothills of the towering Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. So where is Champaran now? Champaran is in Nepal now. This Champaran district is in it is in Bihar, which is very close to the border of Nepal. Under an ancient arrangement, so there was an old arrangement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. Now these peasants, these were small farmers. Peasants means small marginal farmers. So who have got very small land holding. So they were sharecroppers. They used to share their crop. So therefore they were called sharecroppers. So the landlords were the British and they used to hand over share of their crop. So that was a system that was existing during that particular time. And one of those peasants was Rajkumar Shukla. So who was Rajkumar Shukla? He was also a sharecropper, a tenant farmer who used to give part of their crop as a rent. So sharecroppers are the tenant farmers. So they will give part of their crop as a rent to the landlords. So this sharecropper, Rajkumar Shukla, was illiterate but resolute. Resolute means what? He was very much determined. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar. So he had come there because he wanted to complain about the kind of injustice that was done to all these sharecroppers due to the landlord system that existed there, or Jamindari system that existed there in Bihar. And who were the Jamindars? Who were the landlords? The British. And somebody had probably said, speak to Gandhi. And somebody had told him, you go to Gandhi and tell him. Gandhi told Shukla, he had an appointment in Kanpur and was also committed to go to other parts of India. So he told him that he was quite busy. He had to go to Kanpur because he had already scheduled the appointment. And then he was also committed. So the schedule or the program of Mahatma Gandhi was quite busy. Shukla accompanied him everywhere, and that is the reason why he was called resolute. He was determined. Wherever Mahatma Gandhi went, Shukla accompanied him. Shukla also went along with Mahatma Gandhi. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. And what is the name of that ashram? Near Ahmedabad, Sabarmati Ashram. We already heard about one more ashram, that is Sevagram Ashram. Where is Sevagram Ashram? It's in Wardha. It's in Maharashtra. Whereas Sabarmati Ashram near Ahmedabad, that is in Gujarat. Shukla followed him to the ashram. For weeks, he never left Gandhi's side. Fix a date, he begged, and he was begging him. He was again and again telling him. He was again and again appealing him to fix a date, to tell a particular day when he would come and listen to all the problems of all these peasants. Impressed by the sharecropper's tenacity, he was very much impressed by the tenacity of the sharecropper. What does tenacity means? Determination. So he was determined, he was resolute that he must come and see the conditions of these sharecroppers. Gandhi said, I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me there in Calcutta and take me from there. So before we proceed to the next paragraph, let's see these questions. Think as you read. Strike out what is not true in the following. Strike out what is not true. And what is true here? A. Rajkumar Shukla was a sharecropper. So what you are supposed to do? You have to strike out a politician. He was not a politician, but he had come there to the convention which was supposed to take place in Lucknow. But why did he come there? He was a sharecropper. He was a very poor farmer, and he wanted to tell the conditions of the sharecroppers of Champaran to the delegates who had arrived there to attend the convention. So he was not a politician, he was not a delegate, he was not a landlord, and you have to strike out second, third, and fourth. And what is the answer? Rajkumar Shukla was a sharecropper, but you have to strike out remaining all. Now let's go to B. Rajkumar Shukla was poor. Yes, he was poor. Physically strong. No, he was emaciated. He was emaciated. Physically very thin, very weak. Illiterate. Yes, he was illiterate. So you have to strike out physically strong. So poor, illiterate. Now let's go to the second question. Why is Rajkumar Shukla described as being resolute? Why he was determined? Why resolute? So wherever Mahatma Gandhi went, he followed him. And he was determined to take him to Champaran and tell him about the conditions under which all these poor peasants were. How these British landlords exploited them due to the agreement which they had done with these British landlords. Let's go to the third question. Why do you think the servants thought Gandhi to be another peasant? So let's find out the answer for this third question in this paragraph. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta when Gandhi arrived. He waited till Gandhi was free. Now here he was very resolute. He had promised that on one particular day he will be there in Calcutta, and he asked him to come to Calcutta, and he was there on the day which was fixed. He was eagerly waiting for Gandhiji's, and when Gandhiji arrived, he met him. Then the two of them boarded a train. Then when Gandhiji was free, then both of them they boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. So then they boarded train to go to Patna. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became president of the Congress Party and of India. So there in Patna they stayed in the house of a lawyer. So Rajendra Prasad was by then a very popular lawyer who later rose to become the president of Congress Party. Then he also became the president of Independent India. The first president of Independent India, that was Rajendra Prasad. But those servants who were there in the house of Rajendra Prasad, they knew Shukla. They knew Shukla as a poor farmer, human. What is human? Human means a man who cultivates a small piece of land. So they knew him as a poor farmer who pestered their masters. He came there again and again, insisted or requested him to come to Champaran to help the indigo sharecroppers. So they knew him that he was a poor farmer who was fighting for the sharecroppers of Champaran. So they let him stay. They allowed him to stay on the grounds with his companion. So who was accompanying him? Gandhi. And it is not that everyone knew about Mahatma Gandhi at that particular time, whom they took to be another peasant. They thought that Gandhi was another peasant. They did not know about him. They thought that he was also a farmer who was accompanying Rajkumar Shukla. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well, lest some drops from his bucket pollute the entire source. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? So that was a time when untouchability was very much prevalent, nearly 100 years ago, 110 years ago. So when 1917, so 100, nearly 103 years ago. So when that untouchability was very much prevalent, and therefore they did not give permission to draw water from the well. Let's study this chapter in the next session. Let's continue studying this chapter. Thank you. Goodbye.